Sorry about the delay, everybody. Appreciate your patience. As you can see, we have a little technical setup difficulty, but we're good to go now. This is a great turnout. Hopefully everybody's here for the KC Water Smart Sewer Program I&I reduction project called Buckeye. North of the river, Buckeye Creek is the technical name. I'm Drew Matrician. I'm with Burns McDonnell. We do public outreach for the Smart Sewer Program. With me tonight, go ahead and forward. We've got the project team. Some of the members of the team are on this slide, but the real speakers tonight are Nikki Chestnut. She's our project manager. And then Matt Thomas is also here to talk more about the Smart Sewer Program. This meeting is actually being recorded and will be posted on Kansas City Water YouTube channel and on the project webpage. There will be a link at the end of the presentation that takes you to the webpage with the QR code. Obviously, lots of you have already looked at the maps and asked questions about your specific property, but we invite everyone to do that at the end of the meeting. Hopefully, you'll learn a little bit about the program and the project, and then we can dive into the details with some of the project team members and some of the maps. Like I said, we hope that you learn a little bit about the Smart Sewer Program, a little bit about kind of the wastewater infrastructure in your neighborhood, and really understand the challenges that KC Water is trying to solve with this project. And then really what we want to do is get feedback from you all on how you want to be communicated with throughout construction and throughout the life of this project. So I'll hand it over to Matt.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Matt Thomas. I'm an operations officer for the Kansas City Water Department. I've been there 27 years almost. So I've seen a lot of things and done a lot of things. And at one time I had all the investigators and inspectors for water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure. So anytime you guys called in, my guys were the first one to boots on the ground in the field. So I transitioned back over to the Smart Sewer Program, and my boss is Andy Shively. He's our deputy director, and not be here tonight. Of course, delegates me. So KC Water, we have drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater. So I didn't know if anybody knew that. There's no difference. KC Water, we maintain all three of those assets. Okay. So Kansas City, as you guys know, is roughly, I'm going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, 319 square miles of city. We're long. So everybody, this is, as you know, north of the river and south of the river. In this purple area, this is what we call our combined sewer area. So that's the oldest part of the city. So basically, your sanitary sewers run with the stormwater system. And we are permitted through MDNR and PA over the years to discharge into the rivers and creeks through CSOs combined sewer overflow areas. And that's mainly this area. I would say Missouri River, Blue River, probably like 87th Street, and then of course State Line Road. This is your oldest area. You know, it came about, it started in 1857, and it just grew out, and then of course we expanded across the river over time. Combined area has 58 square miles. Separated area has 260 square miles. There's about 1,100 feet of miles, excuse me, of sewer within the combined area. And there's roughly 1,750 miles in the separated area. So after the 60s came along, you know, as long as people lived here, probably knows we started going north farther south. So in your combined area, this kind of shows you how it works. You're living at your house, flush your stool, comes down, and the pipe will be directed back to a wastewater plant from a conversion structure. When it rains, all that water mixes, goes over a dam and out to the river. I can't remember, John, was it how many CSOs we have? 130 out. 87. 87. All right. From separated area, everything's separate. All your sanitary flow goes straight into a wastewater pipe directly to the treatment plants. Storm flows, the catch basins on the road you see in the inlets, go straight into the storm sewer, out to an outfall. So that's the difference in here. So big sources and problems that we can run into. So everything here in white is private issue. Everything in the black is ours. So if you're lateral, you have a big tree, root intrusion, uncapped bean outs. Your root drains are connected directly to your sanitary sewer. And then your foundation drains. On our end of it, you guys own the sewer lateral all the way to the main. Our instrument is getting old, so we got to go back and maintain it. So, you know, we have cracks in manholes and pipes, storm sewers, various other issues we got to deal with. So our challenges: sewer overflows during wet weather, our aging wastewater infrastructure, sewer backups. You know, water gets in your basement, and we also call water in basements. Poor water quality in local streams, urban lakes, and rivers. And past sewer rates did not reflect the true sewer costs maintaining wastewater infrastructure. If you guys look at your water bill and see how much your sewer bill is, and your water bill, it's got up, happens.
Yeah.
That's to pay for this.
It's one.
All right, through the smart sewer program, creating projects we call green infrastructure. We're doing sewer separation. These two mainly within the combined area. Sewer capacity improvements, inflow and infiltration, which that's what this Buckeye Creek project is. Infiltration and inflow. So we get additional wet weather treatment in our plants because all that water gets in the pipe. The treatment plant's treating it, costs more money. And pump station and treatment plant improvements. So since 2010, when this all started, to 2035 is when we were mandated through the consent decree with the EPA, you know, $2.3 billion. So this kind of shows you when we started in 2010, when the various projects started. A lot of the early stuff was green infrastructure. And if you guys have driven down Plaza area, various other areas, you'll start to see there's a lot more vegetation, nice areas. That's what we're calling our green infrastructure. Pipe and conveyance got started about 13, 14. You have sewer separation. I also started in 2010. Matter of fact, one of my first projects with the smart sewer program or overflow control program at the time was done in Loud Grove. That was the very first I project we did have. So that kind of gives you an idea over time, the various different projects and when we're working on those assets. So with that, I'll be around after if you guys have questions as far as city side. But I'm going to turn over to Nikki to tell you about Buckeye treatment.
So my name is Vicki Chestnut. I'm the project manager representing the city. I'm going to be coordinating the overall project, more specifically the sewer rehab projects or any I&I related issues. And we also have Jared Stevens over here. He's the project manager for the water main replacement portion of the project. So he's going to be talking to you a little bit more specifically about that work. So being oriented. All the project work is north of the river. This is just kind of a view here. And the next slide shows a little bit more detail for where the work is actually taking place. So all the blue here is the general boundary for the sewer work, the I&I reduction work. It's bounded on the north by Vivian Road, to the east by North Brighton Avenue, south 210 Highway, otherwise known as Arbor Road, and then on the west by North Brooklyn Avenue. And then there's pockets of water main replacement work. Some is located within the overall I&I boundary. That's why we're bidding these projects together so we can reduce disruption for areas where the work is conflicting. So we don't have to go in and tear up the streets more than one time. Going that makes sense. And then there's other water main relocation work that's a little bit outside of the project area, but it was already being bid at the same time with the water work that was inside, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it all together. That's the last. A little bit about the I&I portion of the work that's getting done, which is the sewer rehab work. We're doing 7,600 linear feet of total line replacement, so digging up the existing sewer and taking the old stuff out and putting brand new sewer pipe in. And then we have 135 open cut containers where we've identified just locations in the sewer main that was in bad condition, but the rest of the pipe was okay. So we're gonna take out that portion of the pipe and then replace it with brand new pipe. And then there's about 83,400 linear feet of cured in place pipe lines. Then we have pictures a little bit, I think it's on the next slide, that will show you really kind of what the CIP work is. It's basically just installing a liner in your existing sewer main and making it brand new. It's installing a pipe directly in your existing sewer. And then you have 1,300 lateral connection repairs. So that's your service laterals that Matt was talking about earlier. We're gonna go repair those as well. Right up into the right of way portion. So it's part of the city maintenance. And then we also have 180 manholes that some need to be rehabbed and some need to be totally replaced. So some will stay in place and we're just going to maybe replace the frame and cover and put back a brand new one. Some will have to go in line the manhole. And then some wants to just take out the old manhole and put back a brand new one. It just depends on the condition of the structure. And all this work is scheduled to begin around July of 2023 and continue through April 2025. So it's a lengthy project. And these are photos, kind of what I was talking about. This is the CIPP, the cured in place pipe. We have on your left side, you have a picture of just the existing sewer pipe, the way as is current condition. And then on the right side is that liner that we're going to go in and put it just directly inside the existing main and kind of making that structurally sound at that point. And this is a photo of the lateral connection lining. As you see, this is the sewer main here. And this is your lateral connection. We'll go and do something similar. We'll put a liner directly in the lateral portion. And keep your existing lateral in place and just go ahead and install a liner, making that portion of the lateral connection. And then we also have a pipe bursting vector that this is a form of total line replacement, but we don't have to dig up the sewer in this location. We're basically pulling this pipe through and we burst the existing pipe as this gets threaded through the system, and it puts a brand new pipe in place while getting rid of the existing pipe. And that is to not disrupt your surface in that location. Other methods, the open cut installation, this is, your typical trench that you're going to build. If we actually have to tear your sewer in place, you have to dig a trench and then take out the old pipe and put a brand new one in its place. And then we're also doing manhole lining as well. This on your left side is a picture of a brick manhole without lining. There's maybe cracks that you see here that could cause infiltration into the system. And we go in and we line it with cementitious lining to get rid of that infiltration and have a solid surface to work with. Okay, in this next portion, we're also doing water main replacement work. And I was gonna have Jerry some hints, go up and a little bit about the water main that we bring.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jerry Stevens. I'm the project manager for the water portion of this project. Combined with the sewer part of the project is water main replacement. The city of Kansas City is doing a water main replacement throughout the whole city of all the water mains over a long period of time, obviously. And we are combining the water main replacement in this area with the sewer part so that we minimize the amount of interruption. In other words, we don't want the sewer to be renewed and then a year later we come back and dig up the street again, those types of things. So hopefully that'll maybe prolong the time that they're in front of your house digging, but minimize it overall as far as coming back and interrupting it more than once. So that's our intent here. Just a trivia number for you. Can anybody guess how many miles of water main the city of Kansas City has in their system? The trivia answer is 8,700 miles of water main. And we're replacing, no, I'm sorry, 2,700. Big difference there. 2,700 miles of water main, 27 miles of water main, 2,700 miles of water, yeah. And so we're replacing all of it. And so we like I said, targeted this area because we wanted to minimize the amount of interruptions that we had there. But this project here has 24,000 linear feet of 4 to 12-inch water mains. We replace that with, if you have a water main in front of your house that's less than 8 inches, we replace it with 8-inch. That's the minimum size we use nowadays. And if you have a 12-inch, we'll put 12-inch back. But that's, you'll get all new water main. You'll get new valves in the system, all new water system. That's replacing the existing one, and new fire hydrants, and that type of thing. So for the fire hydrants, there are 87 fire hydrants that we're going to be installing new ones, replacing the ones that are there. And there is a rule of how far the hydrants can be apart from one another, so that we will make sure that the spacing of the hydrants is according to the regulations as well. And like Nikki said, this work is anticipated to begin July 1, 2023 and continue through April of 2025. And our intention is to send you a postcard notifying you when the contractor is going to be in your area. And so that you can kind of plan for it. It's going to be some detours of the streets, things like that. Of course, it's going to interrupt traffic. But here again, hopefully it'll be a one and done type of thing. We won't have to come back and dig up the street again. So can you go back to this slide that has the area on there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like Nikki said, the water main replacement area is this green area right here. And then there's some more over here. If you want to look on the maps later, I'll be around to kind of describe it. We have a set of plans over here, exactly what's going to be going on. But one of the things we do is if you have a meter in your house, take it out of the house and put it in a meter pit out in the yard, out in front of the house. So that in the future, if they have to work on the meter, that it would minimize the amount of interruption getting in your house and that type of thing. So we won't have to do that. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them afterwards. And we can kind of work with you on when we're in front of your house.
Yeah. We're basically, we just want you guys to know that we want you guys to stay informed throughout the project. And so there's this QR code that you guys are welcome to scan, and you can be directed to the city's webpage. And so we'll have information about the project on there, and our contact information and the project fact sheet if you want to download. But also be aware, as Jerry mentioned, that the property owners are going to receive advance notifications whenever we're in this property and doing something right here. And with that, thanks for joining us. This is our contact information on the screen, so you guys are welcome to reach out.
Contract.
Oh, yeah, it's a construction. We have Spencer Moore and Brian Ross from Kissick here. They're gonna be the ones doing the work on the project. They're gonna be available after we complete this presentation to take any questions as well that you guys have.
Any questions?
Questions?
But basically then you're not really working in people's properties or yards, you're working along the.
Well, there's gonna be instances where the city has sewer easements that run in your property. So in that case, we would be working directly on the property that you'd be notified before that would take place.
The most of those lines and everything are at the street or.
Or in cars.
Water lines, or some of the sewer lines might be in your backyard wall, that's like.
Yeah.
So, that was working plan as well as management.
But we'd be happy to, after the meeting, walk through, looking at everyone's property and try to identify if there is work in the property. Any more questions? Yes.
What happens to those areas that have septic tanks on them?
Septic only, sure. We're not gonna-
No, they'll remain on septic unless the probably work with the contractor on the site through their working with them, they could probably get a new line from their house to the main at their expense to the city. That would be between the property owner and the contractor on site.
They won't have to.
No, not that I heard that they're forcing that to get done, but you're getting charged, just so you guys know, a sewer rate charge on your bill, even though you're not a septic tank, that's because you're within 200 feet of the sewer. In all reality, if you want to maintain your septic tank, love it, I mean, it's like, a lot of people do. Unless you're having issues with it, I connect to them.
Grant Sokol, he's with Ring. He's gonna be the lead RPR. And he's also gonna be coordinating with David, he is the lead RPR for water, yeah.
I live in Charlotte, and I've noticed on all these maps that we're not really included in this project very much, specifically Russell Road, which has had multiple water main breaks. One is recently, a couple weeks ago, that was like a huge explosion. Is there a separate plan to address this specific area right here? Because I noticed it touches about this much of Russell Road up on the Cleveland end, and we're Cleveland, Parvin, Antioch, and 43rd Street. I just didn't see a lot of things going on in our neighborhood specifically.
So I have to verify that. I know that there is a lot of water main work being done throughout the city, and you're just in a portion of it.
Yeah. If you're not on the map there, where you're there, that for the water main part of it, we'll probably be incorporating that into the project in the near future, especially if there's been breaks. That's one of the things that we look at is the water mains that have had a lot of breaks and had some breaks as well. Those are the ones that we want to replace. Ones that haven't had the breaks and so on, because it's not as critical to replace them right away. But it will be, overall, the intention is to replace all the water mains in the city.
I would say, and I live in this neighborhood, which is why I'm gonna push on this. Russell Road, right across the street, on the first third of it, has 48 potholes from water main breaks. So, in my opinion, That's a pretty severe situation. That's a main road through our neighborhood that connects one side to the other, and people live on that road.
And it's flooded houses.
Yes.
And it's literally more patches from water main breaks than
Right.
normal continuous
We
pavement.
have pictures of it if you'd like. We have videos of it if you'd like. We've also been conducting a survey with our neighborhood about all of not only the road conditions, but the water main conditions that we're facing. And in all of these maps, we're not getting touched by it. There have been multiple reports by the neighbors. There have been reports by us. And I'm happy to wait as long as it's going to get dealt with at some point.
I'll let Melanie, she's walking up here, she's one of the people that kind of, she's my boss and one of the people that make the decisions on what streets to include in the water main for next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm Melanie Jala. I'm the Water Distribution Division Head at KC Water. So we do have a water main replacement program. Like Jerry said, we're replacing 28 miles a year. If you want to send Jerry your address, what we can do is we can take a look at it on the map. We have ongoing, at any given time, 28 miles of design and 28 miles of construction projects. And we can look and see where, off the top of my head, I don't know where it falls. But likely it's already included in a design project if you've had that many breaks over the last 5 years. It's likely included in a design project. And the design projects typically take about a year to design. And then it's about 5 to 7 months to do bidding, and then construction occurs after that. So from the start of design to the end of construction is about a 3 process. So we can happily get your information and your address so we can look at this area, and then we can send you an update on when we anticipate that work will be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have one more question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Our neighborhood is as old as 1900. So are we on a combined system or are we on a separated system?
It's separated. The only combined area for Missouri to purple irrigation. Probably one time you were on septic tank, may have been on septic and then laid sewer mains for that.
Okay.
So same neighborhood, but I have a question as well. So I know you had mentioned, one of you had mentioned the 3 tiers to the department, you know, which includes the stormwater runoff, which we obviously pay a lot for stormwater runoff, but we don't really have like culverts, gutter streets and that kind of thing. And I just wondered if there is any plan to take care of that.
Well, most of the, if everybody puts their bill, I think you're paying, most people's bill for stormwater is $2.50. So it's probably one of our lowest funded parts. We know that we're trying to get more funding into it to work on the storm system. But that's gonna have to probably come as a vote to the ratepayers. Because that would be a fee that would have to increase on your bill as well.
I mean, which is,
And it's, I know, and there's unimproved streets and improved streets. You know, then we deal with public works and, you know, a lot of times they'll come through and do an improved street, which, what an improved street is. Curbs.
well, yeah, we don't know those, but yes.
A lot of people probably, I know in this area, probably just have a line, gutter lines that are in the grass, you know, that's where your water goes under a culvert, you run over through your driveway.
Yeah, no culvert.
No,
Yeah,
we,
there's no sidewalk.
no,
There's
no gutter.
So, and it's, a lot of it's, or God bless the stormwater side, you know, this, we're trying to break even every year to get as many repairs as we can. Now, on stuff like that, you can get to a kayak request through,
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with
Yeah.
but a lot of times they'll see what funding is based on doing something like that.
So this is just water lines and sewer lines. We're not doing anything with storm drain lines, right?
Correct.
Okay, because when we tried kayak before and kayak, we get runoff from Vivian and Antioch into our yard, which is we have a nose arc, we have lake river every time it rains. Kayak has told us we are a green lake. It slows down the water that then goes into the creek and goes to Shamar Lake. And that was their answer to us. So our question is, storm drain lines are not being replaced on this project, right?
On this project, no.
Okay,
There are some in areas throughout the entire city that work's getting done. Like I said, there's a minimal amount of money every year that we can only build.
Questions?
It'll be a little headache for a little while, but you got a very good contractor I've dealt with for a lot of years. I'll help you out. It's probably one of the best contractors, in my opinion. Hopefully no other issues. Doing this work, so they're very good to work with, and they take care of things, so. You're glad to know that.
With that, we'll just put the presentation and kind of break out and look at the boards and you guys will go, walk into the board and take a look at where your property is located and it's not standing for the project.